All right, so hope you had a nice week off. Got to get back into the swing of things. We just got 3 weeks left in this semester, so we're gonna just review 5.2 and 5.3 today, since I'm sure it's natural that we would have forgotten some stuff. So 5.2 was on substitution, and so we had a 3-step process: get x or y by itself, or x equal or y equal. Substitute in the other equation, and then plug your answer from step 2 in either equation. Okay, so that's the process. So if we had okay, so looks too much like a 4. All right, so get x or y by itself in either of the equations. What you want to look for is something that has just x or just y. So in the top one, I'm not even going to go near. The bottom one, I have just x and just y, so you can kind of pick. Doesn't matter which one you do. It'll still work out just fine. I'll solve for y, just no particular reason. So, and you can put negative x minus 3. You could put negative 3 minus x. That does not matter. When you plug it in and work it out the rest of the way, it'll give you the same answer. Okay, so step 1, done right there. I got y by itself. Step 2, substitute in the other equation, and I forgot to put and solve. So go into the top equation, and then, so this is where I'm doing step number 2. In the top equation, instead of y, I'm going to put negative x minus 3. Okay, and then here's where the bulk of the work happens. Okay, I got to get rid of the parentheses, so I'm going to distribute. 5x, 2 times negative x is negative 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. I can combine the 5x and the 2x, so 5 minus 2 is 3x. And then add 6. 15. Divide by 3. Excuse me. So x equals 5. All right, so step 2 done, but you can see that's the biggest work. Step 3, I'll do over here, is plug your answer in from step 2 into either equation. I like the bottom equation way back over here because it's just x and y. There's not numbers, so I like that better. So instead of x, I'm going to put a 5. And then I can solve that. Okay, and so remember, your answer, what we're looking for is the point where the two lines cross. Like if I was going to graph those, which I don't have to, I'm looking for the point where they cross. So the answer isn't x equals 5 and y equals -8. You need to put it as a coordinate. Okay, so really get step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm sure on some of the problems, it'll already be y equal or it'll already be x equal for you. And then the other ones, if you see just an x or just a y in the problem, that's what you want to solve for. Okay? It's going to say, the directions will say solve using whatever method you want. So here's, like, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, if you have x or y by itself, like we do over here, I would use substitution, and I would solve for x or y like I just did this problem. Okay, I think it's going to be easier than doing an elimination problem, which we're going to talk about next. Okay, so 5.3 is elimination, and we're going to have to do like we'll do 2 examples for elimination. Okay, so there's 2 different like things in terms of presentation, in terms of how the problem can look at the beginning. Okay, so let me find one that I like. Okay, so well, let's do our steps. Make sure x, y equal and the number line up. So I want the x's over the x's, the y's over the y's, so on. Make x or y be opposite. So like 2 and -2, 3 and -3, 4 and -4, like that. Combine the 2 equations and solve. And then the last one is the same as substitution. Plug in answer from step 3 into either equation. Okay, so if I had 8x minus 5y equals 11 and 4x minus 3y equals 5. So on this one, I would not use substitution because I have numbers in front of all the x's and all the y's. That's going to be a really difficult problem, probably involving some fractions. So I don't want to go anywhere near that. So x, y equal numbers are lined up. I need to make x or y be opposite. Sometimes it'll already be that way. Sometimes it won't. So on this one, what you want to always work with is the smaller number. So I have a 8 and a 4, a 5 and a 3. Negatives and positives don't matter at this point. So can I do 3 times something and get 5? No. Can I do 4 times something and get 8? Yes, I can do 4 times 2. So that's what I want to work with, the 4. Okay? And so what I'm going to have to do is multiply this whole thing not only by 2, but by -2. Because I need this one to be -8 because that's +8. I need them to be opposites. So if you just multiply times 2, you're going to get 8 and 8. And then when you combine them together, that's 16 when we want to eliminate something. Okay, so I need to distribute the whole thing. So I'm not just doing the 2 times the 4, I got to do all of them. Okay, and I'm just going to rewrite the top one to make it easier to see. Okay, so step 1 was already done for us. Step 2 is right there. So I got to make them be opposite. I did that. Okay, step 3 is going to happen right here, where I combine them together. -8 and +8 is 0, so I don't have anything. 6 minus 5 is 1. That's nice. -10 and +11 is a +1. Okay, so the combining and solve should be really easy. Even if, like, you got 2y over here, you just have to divide and you're done. Okay, all right, so then step 4, plug 1 into either of the problems at the very beginning. So the 2 black parts, I know it's kind of hard to see. Let me erase this red. Okay, either one of those 2. I'll choose the bottom one because the numbers are smaller. Okay, so instead of y, I'm going to put 1. Guess the 11s. Oh, I don't know why I said I'm going to do the bottom one and I plugged it into the top one. Doesn't matter. So 5 times 1 is 5. Add 5. Divide by 8. Okay, so there's my 2 parts of the coordinate. Remember, I'm looking for the point where the lines cross. 2, 1. Okay. All right. So that's what happens if you have to multiply one of the equations together. Now, on some of them, and these are like the hardest ones because you have to do the most stuff, and sometimes the numbers can get a little bigger, so I want to show you one where we've got some larger numbers. Okay. All right, so again, no substitution here because I got numbers all over the place. So look at the small numbers. Okay, 2 to 13. Can I do 2 times something and make 13? No. Can I do 6 times something and get 9 for the x's? No. So that means I have to multiply both equations times something. Okay, so what's the smallest number that I can make a 2 and 13 into? That would be a 26. Okay, what's the smallest number I can make a 9 and a 6 into? Now you might look at that and say 9 times 6 is 54, which you could, but I could also do 18. 9 times 2 is 18, 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. But I need to do the top one times 2, and I need to do the bottom one times 3. Okay, now 9 times 2 is 18, 6 times 3 is 18. I need one to be -18 and one to be +18. So one of them, and it doesn't matter which, needs to be, needs to be negative. So I'll just do the bottom one. All right, now I distribute the whole thing. So 2 times 9 is 18x. 2 times 4 is 4y. 39 times 2, goodness, 78. So this is where the numbers do get bigger sometimes. All right, -3 times 6, -18. 13 times 3 is 39. And -9 and -3 is positive 27. All right, combine those two together. 35y and 90, 108. Nope, 105. Sorry. 8 and 5 is 15. All right, and then, so here's where we have kind of a bigger number than we're used to working with, but that's 3. So it'll always work out into a whole number. I mean, technically it doesn't have to, but the problems that you'll see will work out. Okay. Oh, I messed up something. 4 and negative 39 should be negative 35. So negative, negative, and y equals negative 3. So yeah, there's got to be careful of the signs. You know, I went a little bit too fast right there and almost forgot a negative, so just be careful. Okay, plug negative 3, go all the way back to the beginning, because those have the smaller numbers. Go all the way back to the beginning and plug in negative 3 for y. I'm going to choose the top one just because I don't want to do 13 times 3. I'd rather do 2 times 3. The numbers will be a little bit smaller. So 9x plus 2 and then negative 3. And solve that out. Oops. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Divided by 9. Okay, so there's my two numbers to combine for my coordinate where the lines cross. Okay, so those ones can take a little while, but trust me, they are much easier than if you did substitution. You'll have all kinds of fractions if you did substitution. So, all right. So today you'll have a worksheet. You can use whatever method you want. I will tell you that some of them will be set up to do substitution. You'll see just x or just y in the problem. And some of them will definitely be set up to do elimination. Okay, but I don't care which one you do. You may pick, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right, have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon.